Hey mamas, it's Kristen Noel from the Intuitive Divorce, popping in with my beautiful team member, Joe Young, master coach. And we are literally coming in live right after a wonderful, wonderful, powerful, amazing class in our group coaching program. And we just dove into something today that was really tactical and strategic and heartfelt. And we realized it's something that we talk about a lot in the program, but it's this notion of what happens in the in-between moments. And I'm kind of obsessed with the in-between moments because it's something that doesn't really get talked about in the divorce circle so much. Everybody is focused on the asset grab and the attorneys and the tug of war over the kids and the parenting plans and everything else. But there's a lot of life that goes on in between those meetings with your attorney and those filings and those documents and those court dates and, you know, meetings with therapists and whatever. Lots of uncertainty, lots of emotions, lots of triggers, just lots of vulnerability. And so we decided we really wanted to start focusing on that because what was happening is like our class is like this sacred space of reflection. And we just see the transformation after 90 minutes of being in that container when a woman just plops in and just is vulnerable and she's seen and there's reflection and she's held and we process and we workshop. I mean, they walk out completely different people. And you know what happens? The in-betweens, because there's 7 days in between class. And a lot of life happens in those moments. So we decided we're really going to talk about that today. We're really going to focus on that and really get tactical with ways in which you can just very simply support yourself. And Joe is so good at this and so good at helping us like put what we're calling scaffolding. Scaffolding, like we as coaches, we build this scaffolding around our clients. But you know what really good coaches do? They help you build your own scaffolding. And so this is something that I just want to thank you and reflect back to you because this is something that you help me remember every day. And it's really enriched our program and it's really enriched the way we show up to help and guide our mamas. So first and foremost, I want to thank you.
Oh, thank you. I received that.
Because she's such a
Um,
good coach and a good friend and a good human being. Just want to say.
well, it's something that I've had to learn how to do, and I've seen it work in my own life. And yeah, there's these in between moments because let's face it, if we're working with a therapist, if we're working with a coach, I mean, we're likely seeing that person one time a week, and many things happen outside of that session. And so it's not about showing up and us giving answers and advice and all of that. It's not our job. Our job is to guide our clients back to their own truth and their own knowing and giving them a toolbox of what to do with that as the in between unfolds. And so, yeah, I love it so much. And we got beautiful examples today of women that are all over the board in the in between, some chasing lots of things outside of their control, whether they're in California with the fires or whether they're having house issues and, all the different things that can possibly happen, to also women who have been in the program a little longer who are like, yeah, I am seeing the difference that each and every step makes. That when I'm really clear, the universe can show up and go, I got your back.
Mhm.
Okay, this is what you're moving towards. You're clear about that. Let me help support you along the way. And so it's a beautiful reflection back to all the things that we say. And we did have one of the moms who said today, I've been hearing you say this for so long, and now I get it. And those are the moments where it's like, yeah, now you're seeing how to help
Yeah.
yourself,
Mhm.
how to move yourself towards what it is that you want for your life. And that's everything, right?
And the other thing is, and I am guilty of this myself, it's like sometimes we outsmart ourselves. We think we know that, we think we know what we want, and we're actually not really being clear. We're being busy. Busy and clear are two different things, right? So let's just like dive in to just some tactical things that like what and why we did today.
Yeah. So we gave our mamas an assignment today, right? To start to be clear about what they want their lives to look like in 3 months. How do they want to feel? Where do they want to be in their process? So that they get to, well, first of all, I want to say, and that's not a thinking game, right? We
Right.
think we can, as soon as we start to go, where do I want to be in 3 months? Whether I'm in a divorce process or not, my mind is going to tell me all the reasons that all the ideas that pop in aren't going to happen.
I was
You're
just gonna
too
say,
busy. Who
let
do
me
you
be,
think you
yeah,
are? Like, right?
let
Or
me be
I
your
don't
monkey
know. I'm
mind,
not
right?
clear. Yeah.
Yeah, your monkey mind's like, well, that's not going to happen. How's that going to happen? How are you going to get the money to do that? That'll never work. The monkey mind immediately interrupts. So thank you for bringing that in because that's a really important distinction to bring into this equation.
Yeah, it's so true. And when you start to realize that that's going to be a part of it, then you can kind of normalize that, oh, yeah, of course, my mind is over here trying to keep me in the familiar because that's its job. And so, what am I going to do with that? Right. As we tell our mamas, our truth, our answers live inside of us. And so we don't have anybody else's answers. We think we show up as these beautiful advice givers and whatever else. And the truth is, we don't know what anyone else's path or truth is. So the first step is to check in with you and go, if I get out of my monkey mind, if I quiet that voice and I really check in with me, what is it that I know is true that I want for myself 3 months from now? Not how I'm going to get there, but
Mhm.
what do I want and how do I want to feel? And that comes from inside. It's not going to come from up here.
Mhm.
So
And
we teach our
right.
mamas how to do that.
So again, I want to be really clear because this is so powerful what Joe just said. All you want to do is give yourself permission to answer the question. Just answer the question. Don't listen to all this. Don't listen to the how. I just want to know, where do you want to be in 3 months from now? And how do you want to feel in that place? What do you want your life to look like, feel like, be like? Shh, all your excuses over here. Don't let the monkey mind in. The monkey mind
Yeah.
is not invited to answer that question. So the how is not the problem right now. This is your space to just get it out. What is it that you want? How is it that you want to feel? Forget
Yeah.
the how.
And it's so interesting how even asking that question can feel difficult. And you know why? It's because we're not taught how to focus on ourselves. We're
Mhm.
not taught how to tap in and tune into our own knowing and understanding. And so, we're so busy checking all the boxes and doing all the things and getting through life and surviving and all that that we forget that we have our own answers. And all the self-doubt and all that stuff is just a part of the mind fear game that we understand now. And it's like, if I can get myself out of that place and tap into what my knowing is, then I can really let my imagination flow. I can let
Mhm.
my desires be heard. And they're just for me. And it's individual and it's personal. And it's just an understanding that what I want matters. What I desire
I am worthy of it,
matters.
right?
Yes.
And it's not a contract. Okay, it's not a contract. It can change, but it becomes this benchmark
Mhm.
from which you wake up in the morning. Good morning, God. Good morning, Mother Earth. Good morning, universe. Today, and you state what it is you're going to do for yourself to support this vision. And that's where it begins. And it's like, if I have a vision that I'm holding for myself, then it's kind of like a core that I just keep going back to. Is this aligned with this vision? Then it's a place from which you can pivot. It's not, or this person isn't, or that conversation, or this doesn't feel good, or this doesn't feel right. Okay. It's just producing intel. It's just producing a result. And now I can make a different choice. And what am I going to do today to support my vision? And we say any step matters. But the point is keeping the foot on the gas pedal, like momentum.
Yeah.
Baby steps, string them together, but it's action. Because we can talk, 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 talk. And 16 weeks, 20 weeks, 25 weeks, 50 weeks, 100 weeks find ourselves in the same place because we didn't show up with action steps. We can't hope and pray that this is just going to fall into place. We got to show up for it.
It's
Show
so
up for
true.
it. Yeah.
And I love the fact that you say the gas pedal, because if you think about this as, I say all the time that your vision is your GPS. So you would never get in the car to go on a road trip and not know where you're going,
Mhm.
right? Or not take an action to put the car in drive, right? You're not going to get very far. You're going to end up exactly where you are. And this is the same thing.
It's
It's
another
like
good metaphor with the gas tank because you can't run on empty.
you can't run on empty. You got
Fill
to
your
know
engine.
where you're headed,
Mhm.
and then you got to take the steps to get there. And that's exactly what we are working with our mamas on right now, so that
And
they are clear for
Mhm.
themselves about where they want to be.
Mhm. And when we hold them accountable, they become accountable for themselves. And they realize, of course, I want to be accountable for my dreams and my visions. Of course, I want to be accountable for what I need. I'm worthy of support. Divorce is hard. This isn't easy. This is new territory. And maybe the action step is something very small, but maybe the action step is I need to put a boundary in place. Or maybe the action step is I need to make a call to that attorney. Maybe I need to go and have lunch with a friend. Maybe I need to be in stillness and not talk to anybody and stop listening to everybody else's opinions. That's for you to decide. But I promise you, promise you, the minute you start to take action for yourself on behalf of your needs and desires and wants, and this beautiful, beautiful vision, this healing, this, I would say, peeling, revealing, healing vision and life ahead, it starts to manifest before your eyes. Not because it's unicorns and roses, but because you held yourself accountable. And the in between moments matter. And it's really why we wanted to pop in here today and just remind you that there is a lot of life that happens in those moments. And you've got to figure out how I need to be supported and pay attention. What's draining me? What's making me feel worse? Well, we had mamas show up today and they were talking about, well, what do I do when people are asking me all these questions and I just don't want to talk about it? It's so funny. It's so obvious when someone asks you that question, right? Because it's not you in the process, but it's like we're so willing to sacrifice ourselves when we don't want to have a conversation or we don't want to talk about something because we're afraid of what someone else is going to say. And there are many loving ways to handle that scenario. And that's just one little example. It just starts with getting clear on what you need to move in the direction of where you're going.
Yeah. What's the next step? The
Hmm.
next small step.
Hmm.
Yeah. Beautiful class today. I mean, it was simple and yet so profound.
It is profound, and profound is found in simplicity. It really is. We overcomplicate so much.
Mhm.
And literally, sometimes it's in the confusion or in the fear or the anger or the rage, whatever's coming up. Sometimes it's just pulling back. Sometimes it's just pulling back until you know what your next step is. You don't have to have
Yeah.
all
And
all
we
the
had that
fun.
today too, right? Where our feedback for one of the mothers was, you just need to go feel your feelings right now. You got to let all that out
Yep.
and feel what the frustration and all that's coming up, so that then you can come back to, okay, I'm going to take the next step. So for those that are listening to this, if you're feeling super stuck and you're feeling super frustrated, give yourself a moment and go, it's okay that I feel frustrated,
Mm.
and let that out, dance it out, have fun with it, pound a pillow, do whatever you need to do, scream into your elbow. We give all kinds of different tools for how to feel our feelings, But a lot of times we feel stuck because we're so emotionally congested.
Mhm.
And so we got to clean the engine back to
Oh,
our
yeah, I know. Boy,
contrast.
we're just full of metaphors today, right? Well, I mean, that particular mama
Yeah.
also, and I mean, she just had a pile up. She just had such a pile up of events going on. I mean, it was visceral. We could feel it. We could feel the tension building up in her. We could feel the despair. Underneath it all, it was almost like she was reaffirming, I'm afraid to do this on my own. I really am on my own, even though so many mamas are out there doing it on their own anyway, when they are cohabitating, when they are in relationship. Divorce is a breeding ground for learning a lot about yourself. And don't be afraid.
Mm,
Don't be afraid. You said something about emotions. We can stuff our emotions down, but your emotions will not stay there. They will not. They will find their way out.
right. That's right. So be clear on what you want. Be clear on what your beautiful vision is because it matters. You matter. And then start to implement tiny action steps to move you in that direction.
How are you going to support yourself?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
This was
it.
great. Yeah. So wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So powerful. So thank you for listening to this and for popping in here with us. We love this work. There is nothing more incredible and profound than seeing a woman come back to her power to reclaim lost pieces and parts of herself. We left our class today and we said, "You are seen. Now go see yourselves." And that's really what it's all about.
Mm,
So, the tools that you acquire in this process and the things that you reveal and learn about yourself, these are forever things. These are forever skills. This is transforming how you move through the world. This isn't just about your divorce. This is about your life. This is about changing history, breaking patterns. Maybe you're the cycle breaker. Anyway, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here, for sharing your beautiful hearts, and for being so brave as you go through this journey. If you want to learn more about our work, you can check us out at intuitivedivorce.com and on social media, the same, Intuitive Divorce. And we've got tons of great resources and our blog and our podcasts and all kinds of tidbits continuously to support you in this. We'll call it, in the words of Glennon Doyle, brutal. Brutal and beautiful, because that's really, I think, a great
mm,
word for what this journey is.
love that. And we just keep showing up, helping you love yourself more.
Mhm.